Alright, what's good, y'all? So, today I'm going to be doing another story time video. I know my last video probably wasn't very interesting because it was just me sitting in front of the camera telling stories. So today I'm throwing in some gameplay of Gran Turismo 5. And today I'm going to be racing on the high speed ring turbo competition, some bullshit like that. I'll show y'all my car. So up in the right hand corner is my car. It's an 815 horsepower GTR, and it's boosted, it's got engine upgrades, it's got everything. So this thing only weighs 1,411 kilograms, so it's pretty light. And I'm running no traction control, manual, and racing tires. So I'm gonna get into this. So the first story I'm gonna be telling is me stealing somebody's car and drifting it around. So the story begins with, I got 3 friends, so I'm gonna call one Lee. We were with my bro Larry Bird, and then we were with, what am I gonna call him? I'm gonna call him Johnny. So we were with Johnny at this place called The Warehouse that we used to go race at, and it was almost an 1/8 mile long, and it was a pretty good local spot for everybody to meet up, do car meets, and do races. So, damn, this thing's slipping out. So, already you can see I'm in first place. I mean, this thing is fast as shit, it handles beautifully, and this is my favorite car. It's pretty much one of my fastest cars. I have a car that has more horsepower. I got the Bugatti Veyron 16.4 liter quad turbo. That thing's crazy. But let's get back to the story. So we're at the warehouse. I'm gonna throw in some clips of that now. Like a bunch of crazy drag races used to go on there. Every once in a while something really crazy would pull up, and it was just a general good spot to go hang out. And we used to go there and smoke and stuff. We used to go smoke some blunts there and shit, and whatever we had. It was always a fun spot to chill because back when we first started going there, no cops ever showed up at all, and it was a really good safe place to meet. To have meets and to do racing, because everywhere else that there is around here to race is just like on the streets and stuff, and it's not safe to race on the street because there's a lot of factors that you gotta think about, like cops or potentially hitting a pedestrian or like another vehicle or something. It's just not good to race on the street. So we had basically a drag strip that nobody owned. So I didn't mention the warehouse that we used to go to, it was for lease, so you could like rent the area and stuff. But since it was for lease, nobody was there. Like there was literally no trucks, no people there inside the building, no front office or anything. No, like the whole place was empty, and it was great. There was a bunch of buildings, and if you went behind the buildings, that's where we used to go smoke. It was a good spot. But that's not today's story. Today's story is about stealing Johnny's car. So I wouldn't really say stealing it because, we gave it back to him and we didn't really steal it. We just kind of took it for a ride without his permission around the warehouse, and it was pretty fun. So originally we had permission. Larry Bird got permission to drive his car because Larry Bird knows a thing or two about spinning wheels and drifting. So, he was always the one that didn't care about anything and just decided to go say fuck it and drift and just have fun, not care about possibly hitting the wall or whatever. He didn't care. He loved to have fun, and that shit was great. He used to drift in his red truck, actually, and that shit got crazy sometimes because we would pile people up in the back and just go ride around the warehouse, drifting around and shit, doing donuts. It was fun. There was also like a little off-road trail behind the warehouse that we went to go like ride over there. Like we used to park up on the little dirt trail and just like smoke a blunt or something and enjoy it, and not have to worry about anybody coming up to us and asking us for a hit and shit, because that's kind of what happened when there was a bunch of people there. Sometimes random ass person would come up and be like, yo, let me hit, or sometimes it would be one of your homies or something that you really just aren't trying to smoke up right now because of whatever reason it was. So what we did this particular day is Larry Bird got permission to drive Johnny's car, and Johnny doesn't really like us drifting his car, but Larry Bird always gets him to let him drive his car. Like, no matter where we are, no matter what he does, no matter how many times Johnny says, no, you can't drive my car, he always finds his way to get behind the wheel of that car and drive it. So this particular day, he went out and started drifting and started swinging the car everywhere, doing his normal thing. Let me put this into y'all's head. Sorry about that. I can't English sometimes. So let me put this into y'all's head. It's a front-wheel drive 2-liter engine. Drifting isn't really a thing in it, so we would just pull the e-brake and slide the shit out of the car and push it way past what it was supposed to do. And sometimes in front-wheel drive cars, you can put the car in reverse and turn the wheel all the way and floor it, and you'll actually do reverse donuts. So that was something that we did a lot. Let me throw a clip of that in. Got a picture in your head of some of the stupid shit that goes down at the warehouse. So we went around the building. Or no, sorry. So we came up, and Lee wanted to drive Johnny's car too. So he wanted to go swinging it around and go do drifts and stuff and that, so he doesn't have to do it in his own car. Like, I can understand why he would do it, and it was fun. They were both, Larry Bird and Lee are both really good drivers, so, I never felt, like, endangered or anything in the back of the car, but it was always a blast just fucking swinging that thing around, getting close as shit to the wall and stuff. Like, it was an adrenaline rush. So it was just me and Lee in the car, so we drive around the building, because he's just doing laps around the building for some reason, then drifting it when he gets into the middle part where the actual, like, quote-unquote drag strip is. Sorry, I know I'm not even clicking on this shit, I'm focusing on talking. So we went around the building, and he says, you want to drive? Now let me put this into y'all's head. I think I was 15 at the time, so I don't even have my permit now. So, not really supposed to be driving, but at this place, it's not a big deal. It's fun. It's a good place to learn skills and stuff. That's definitely where I would have wanted to learn how to drive stick and stuff like that. So, I told him, nah, maybe in a little bit. I've already driven his car, but not really doing anything crazy. So this time, we went around the building again, and he asked me again. He was like, you sure you don't want to drive? And I was like, you know what? That would be funny as shit if I drove past him driving his own car, drifting it. And he was like, well, drift it then. I was like, shit, really? Should I? And yeah, you already know that happened. So we went around the building, and I just started swinging the shit out of it. And just out of nowhere, Lee pulls the e-brake as hard as he can, and it just does like two 360s in the middle of the warehouse, and it was one of the craziest things ever. Like, it was so much fun. Johnny wasn't the happiest person about what we did, but, you know, I'm pretty sure he was happy I didn't wreck his car. And, I mean, I didn't feel like I was going to at any time. I kept a good distance from the wall and everything, so I wasn't really worried about that. Damn, bro, the station wagon's on my ass. So, alright, now I'm driving my racing R34. This thing's pretty badass. Another GTR that I have. I don't just have GTRs. I have a Ford GT and stuff like that. Like I said, I got a Bugatti Veyron. I got a racing NSX. I got a bunch of shit. So, back to the story. So, hop out the car. Johnny's pretty mad. You know, there's not really much he can do about it. And I forgot to mention that Johnny doesn't smoke. But today, we got him to smoke some. And let's just say that motherfucker was high as a kite. And it was just funny watching him, because he was just like standing there just watching everything happen. Like, he didn't even really try to get in. But at the very end, he finally decided to try to take his car back and try to, I don't know why, but he got in front of the car. Now, we were going pretty slow, and I ended up stopping in front of him. And like I said, he got in front of the car. God damn, this car twitches out when it turns like that. But so we stand there, or we're sitting in the car still, and I put it in park. But Johnny gets in front of the car, and Lee starts yelling at me, drive, drive, drive. So I put it in drive while he was walking up to the car, but when he was in front of it, he said, drive, drive, drive. But I did not see Johnny walk in front of the car. I was looking down at the shifter, putting it into drive, so I could drive away. But by the time I looked up and was already stepping on the gas, Johnny was in front of the car. I slammed on the brakes. I didn't hit him, but it came very close to it, and it just proves why you shouldn't drive while you're still unexperienced and mess around and go fast and stuff. And you know, because I wasn't really paying attention that much, and that's my fault, and you know, it could have been bad. But luckily it didn't. So, you know, I put it back in park. I took out the key, and I hopped out. I'm like, nope, I'm done. After that, you know, I wasn't about to drive this car anymore, because, you know, I already kind of had a scare for my day. And I didn't really want to risk fucking up anything, so I just decided to, you know, be smart and hop out the car and, you know, do something else. So I think Johnny actually got in and attempted to drift after that, and we had fun. So that's the end of that story. So shit, sorry about that, guys. I was really focused on that corner. So that's the end of that story. I'm gonna get back in a few minutes and start up with the next story for today. Part 2 of this video. So now I'm driving my 663 AMG, and I'm going to be doing a drift trial. It was pretty, oh shit, I almost spun out. So, the story that I'm going to be telling today is when me and Lee and one other friend, what am I going to call him? I'll call him Richard. And so, we were just being done smoking. Shit, I just lost all those points. So we just smoked. But let me paint the picture for you guys. So around the time, I think it was like February. So it just snowed. It was the first snow that we actually got this year. Didn't swing it out enough. So it was the first snowstorm that we got this year. So there was a bunch of snow still on the ground. It was about 10 in the morning, I would say. And we decided, hey, if it snows enough, we're gonna go drifting tomorrow morning. We didn't really know where. This was before that we found the warehouse from the last story. If we found that, we would have definitely been there. But, so we only had a few spots. We had the Home Depot parking lot, the Kohl's parking lot, and then we had, what was the other parking lot that we had? I don't remember the last parking lot, but there was another parking lot that we used to go drifting in when it snowed. Oh, it was the elementary school parking lot, but that one's not very big. It's just kind of a little area to avoid, that kind of makes it more interesting. So, repeat e-brake on this one. So, like I said, we decided to go to our high school parking lot and drift. And looking back on it, we probably shouldn't have done that because we made some stupid decisions. But, so what we decided to do was drift around the back parking lot of our high school. And in our high school, there's like this little driving range for driver's ed. And then there's, on that, it's also like a blacktop for the gym classes and shit. So, ooh, I knew I was going to crash there. So, like I said, it goes over towards the, there's like some tennis courts that we have at our school. There's like a basketball court near it too. And then, but if you keep going straight, it's the football field. And like I said, it's only about 10 in the morning. But we decided to go open up the gate that actually leads to the track and football field. And we said, it's a track. I mean, most tracks you can drive a car on, So we decided that it would be fun to drive a loop or a couple laps around the track field since there was nobody at the school. It was a code red day. It was actually a weekday, and we were supposed to have school, but school got called off because of the snow. So we were pretty happy about that. And like I said, we decided, if we didn't have school, we're going to drift. So we decided to go drift on the track for the that goes around the football field. I don't know how I didn't lose those points there. So we go riding or driving around the football field. Drift season. Still getting them donuts though. Saw what we were doing, or what it looked like. Sorry. We decided, let's go drive on the actual football field, and let's just do donuts in the middle of it, and just piss everybody off, and put tire marks all over it and shit. And we did that, and then we got back onto the track, no problems or anything, and then we left that time. Actually, I think we started drifting around the parking lot a little bit more, because that was a little, safer, and not as illegal if we got caught. But later that same night, we decided it would be a smart idea to go drift the track again. But what we didn't think about is the fact that all the snow and everything is pretty much melted. It's kind of hard to drift on melted snow. Well, not really hard to drift, but it's just not a really good situation. And what ended up happening was, we rode it around shit, I'm sorry guys, it's really late at night right now. I'm trying to think straight, and I don't have a note card or a script or anything like that, so, it's kind of hard to, remember what I'm talking about. You guys gotta remember that I'm a pothead, so, it's hard for me to remember some stuff sometimes. But we were on the track, we drove around, and we are in the same car that I posted the deleted clips of not too long ago, and the deleted clips from the video. So in the beginning of the video and in the cinematic, that is the car that we were in. It has a straight pipe, so it's very loud. It's not as loud as it should be for a straight pipe, but it is definitely very loud. And so let me put this in your heads. It's like 11 at night. And we were all supposed to be home at 12. And, yeah, no, that didn't happen. We didn't get home at 12. So what happened was we decided to drive it on the field again. I think we were actually going to get a picture. And, that was a bad idea. After we, messed around a little bit, we went over by the football goals a little bit, either in front of it or behind it. I can't remember. But the ice was melted there, and there was a small decline in the grass there. That wasn't good. That little bit of dirt that went down into a little hole with that melted snow, front wheel drive, we were stuck. We were stuck on the school's football field at about 12:30 at night, or 11:30 at night, with a straight pipe trying to just floor it to slip it out of there or try to move it somehow. So we were actually digging through these little like sheds over by the school. We took whatever we could to try to get this car out because it was not going good. We called everybody that we knew, and everybody that we knew that had a vehicle that would be able to help us and tow us out. And while we were trying to do all of this, I look over to the parking lot. There's a cop, a fucking fed, sitting there in an SUV right underneath the light, and we thought he saw us. Like, it was over. At the time, I actually had a pending charge for a felony, and I really couldn't risk getting caught doing something like that. So, I always told myself if anything happened, I wasn't even there. I never knew what happened. I'm not saying shit. But I had to get myself out of the situation. I stayed to try to help. The cop actually didn't see us somehow. I really don't know how. And I don't know why there was a cop just sitting in the parking lot anyway. There was a cop in it. It wasn't just like an empty car or anything, or the school cop or whatever. I don't know why this dude was here, but I'm very glad that we didn't start the car or anything, or he didn't see us. But, like I said, I stayed there and tried to help a little bit, but at some point I had to get myself out of there. So behind our school, there is train tracks. Sorry about that, I was scratching my head. So, behind the school there's train tracks, and they go down past a gas station. And the main reason why I left is because it was around 1 o'clock in the morning at this point, and my mom was pissed. She wanted to know where I was at, what was going on. I told her that we got the car stuck somewhere. We're trying to get it out. I'll be home as soon as possible. And like I said, it was 1 o'clock at night. I ended up calling her and asking her, can you please come pick me up? We had school the next day, and like I said, there was a cop with me with the pending charges and shit. If I got caught up doing something, it was going to be bad. I ended up going through an alternative program to get those charges cleared off my record, thank God. Because, it was a really stupid charge. I'm going to be straight up. I took some packages. That shit was a bad idea. Don't do it. It's a felony. That shit was retarded. I almost caught a major case for something that cost like $20 that I didn't even take. Because, I didn't want it, so I threw it. Bad idea to do that shit. Don't do it. Just keep your record clean, man. That's all I gotta say. Do whatever you want. I don't care. Just keep the record clean. When you realize that situations are sketchy and stuff, you need to get yourself out of it. Don't ever stick around just because, you don't want to seem like a bitch or whatever. If you're going to get in extra trouble or whatever, or if you have a record, don't put yourself in situations where you can end up going to jail or back to jail. Because nobody wants to be there. No matter what you do, nobody wants to be in jail at the end of the day. Especially not for some stupid shit like smoking weed or whatever. There's better places to do certain things. Sometimes you gotta realize when spots get sketchy, and sometimes you gotta realize that it's not all fun and games and shit when the law gets involved. It's never fun, when the police have to get called and records have to be getting started to add and stuff. Nobody wants to have a criminal record. So I got myself out of that situation. All my friends that were still there, they had clean records, you know. Yeah, like, you know, I kept calling them and texting them and asking them, you know, are y'all alright? Did y'all make any progress? Do you need, you know, I text this person and see if they would come pull you out with the truck. And, you know, eventually Lee actually found somebody to come pull him out. And, you know, we got it out, you know, with minimal damage to his car. His fender popped out, but, you know, it actually just, it honestly adds character. It's still like that right now, but now he has zip ties, like kind of like weaved like shoelaces. He's got drift stitches on it, so it's really cool actually. It looks nice, and it's honestly really hard to notice that it's actually like sticking out farther than the other part of the fender. Like, I'm straight up at you, it looks like a bootleg wide body kit. It's actually pretty funny, but it adds character to the car. Now I'm about to be telling part 3, the third story of this video. So this story takes place around my old neighborhood, around about I'd say like a mile away from my old house. We had a quarry, and it's about, I don't know if you guys know what a quarry is, but if you don't, it's like a mile deep hole into the earth where they mine out like stone and shit like that, and coal or whatever. So it was just this huge hole in the ground, and it looks really cool to be standing up at the top, like over by the fence, just looking down at it. So behind, or right, I guess you could say behind, so right behind the fence, there's a set of train tracks, and across from the quarry there is this place called, or this place that we called the train yard, because, you know, it was like, there was a bunch of, I guess you could say, like, broken down big like industrial trucks, like the ones that like do the power lines, or like the semi trucks or dump trucks, all that shit. So it was just a bunch of big ass diesel trucks and stuff that were just broken down, and us being the little badasses that we were, we used to go just walk around and look at all the random shit that we could find, like see if there was any change left in it or whatever, so we could go buy like fucking Arizonas or whatever fucking 10-year-olds buy with the money that they get. So one day we went over there. So in this story we got Lee, Larry Bird, and then Larry Bird's little brother, so I'm gonna call him Little Bird for this video. And so in this video, in this story, we went over there and we were just like, you know, finding the stupid shit that we usually would find. Like, we would go looking, for some reason we would like take the keys of these cars, so, and like, even though we would never be able to move them. But one day Larry Bird actually decided, or actually in this story, the same day that this story took place, in the same day that this story took place, he actually got the keys of a semi-truck and got in, and he fucking moved it like a couple feet just to like mess around. He started up this big ass truck and moved it a few feet just to be funny. So after that, we went through a couple of trucks, and I actually found a fire extinguisher, and I held on to that thing till we were about to leave. And while we were just like, we were walking back, actually, we were going back onto the train tracks. So how we used to get here is we used to have to walk about a quarter mile down some train tracks to get to the train yard / the quarry. And so we were about to leave, and Little Bird turns around and he says, "Oh shit, there's cops." And I looked because, you know, I didn't really believe him in the first place. I thought that there wasn't about to be any cops there, and, you know, we're fine. We don't have to worry about anything. No, I turn around and there is 2 cops walking towards us. They parked onto the other side, and, you know, we knew we had to get the fuck out of there. So we started running away from the cops, and they started walking up onto the train tracks. Now, I guess they thought, we were just some dumbass little kids. They didn't really chase us. They just kind of walked onto the train tracks and looked at us running away. Looking back on it, we didn't really know we could get in trouble from running from cops. So we didn't really give a fuck. As soon as we saw cops. When my phone gets under 5%, it doesn't let me record on the actual camera app. So, I pretty much told the ending of the story. Sorry about the random cuts sometimes. But, like I said, my phone's about to die, so I need to get this video in quick. So, thank y'all for watching. Stay tuned for more. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at faded_Nathan. And share this video with your friends, like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.